Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the KimUnity Soulutions Podcast, where we inspire employees and entrepreneurs to improve their workplace relationships and environments. How do we do that? We do that by sharing real life experiences that produce practical and unifying solutions. I am your host, Kim the SME. That is because I am always speaking from my experience. So today we're going to be talking about persevering. If you're familiar with my previous episodes, you would understand that I really like to go through the definition of the word so we're all on the same page going forward. Okay? So the Oxford Dictionary describes persevering as persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary describes it as continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. So usually when I hear the word, I'm thinking of the overcoming part. What is it that you hear when you think of persevering or perseverance? I think of the overcoming part. But what we really need to talk about is the in-between. It's not when you reach success. It's how you got there. It's the feelings and the actions that it took for you to get there. So today, the title of the message is, You're Not Struggling. You're persevering. That's what persevering feels like. When we hear the term, is usually talking about the after effect. Once the goal has been accomplished already, or someone encouraging you or telling you of their experience and what they have done, they have persevered. But let's talk about when you're actually in the middle of it. What does it feel like when you're actually in the middle of it? It's painful. You feel a struggle. There's a fight. There's imbalance. You're tired, you're drained, you're emotionally exhausted. We always hear the term, "Ooh, I'm struggling today," or "Today was a struggle." It's the battle, it's trying to figure it out, it's trying to obtain that success. But what I have found is we have to change our mindset, we have to change our vocabulary. All that we are going through, it's not a struggle. That is you persevering. That is you persevering. So we need to stop saying we're tired. We need to stop saying we're exhausted. We're worn out. That may be how you're feeling, but the process is persevering. You are making your way through. You are accomplishing. You are achieving. You are making a way. So we have to be cognizant of that. Let's stop. And I'm talking this, when I speak to you, know that I'm always speaking to me as well. Okay? We have to, so I'm including myself, have to stop thinking about the negative aspects and think about what it truly is. We're not giving up. We're going through it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that pain or that extra weight, or we wouldn't have that exhaustion. We would just let it go. Okay? We are persevering. And everyone goes through it. It's a part of life. It is growth. If we did not have the experiences that challenge us, that make us work harder, that make us tired, we would never get to the next level. We would be ill prepared to make it to the next level. But we're all trying to achieve something better, something greater. We want our children to achieve something greater. But we have to change our mindset. We have to change what we are speaking to ourselves and what we're speaking to others. Now, all of this exhaustion and everything that we're feeling during the process of persevering, it affects us in many different aspects. It can be emotionally, mentally, physically, socially, spiritually, in your professional life, so professionally or personally, in your personal life. We can feel it all the way around. And even though you may just be experiencing it at home, please know that that energy and your aura that you're bringing everywhere else can be felt. So whatever you're experiencing at home, you're taking it to work with you. So people ask me, if you're always talking about improving workplace relationships, environments, which is workplace culture, right? Why are you always talking about how we feel and what we're doing and what we're thinking and what we're saying? That's because we're all humans in the workplace. We're all people and we're all going through something. We are all experiencing something totally different. You could be experiencing something with your parents, someone else, their children, someone else themselves. It could be sickness. It could be a whole lot of things. So whoever we are and whatever we're going through, it follows us. It's a trail. Think about it. Have you ever had a bad day at work and then you come home and now everybody's running away from you because they can just feel your energy? You brought it home. So this is why I'm talking about a host of different things. So you definitely need to stay tuned because it's something I believe we all can learn from, which is why I say it's important to share our experiences because you're not the only one going through it and you may need encouragement. You may need to hear how someone else made it out or made it through or turned around or have regrets or have a new way of thinking of it. It is so important for us to share our experiences, both lived and unlived. If you are new to this podcast, I want to again break down for you what this podcast is all about. KimUnity Solutions. Kim stands for Karma, Intuition, Mindfulness. Karma, Intuition, Mindfulness. KimUnity Soulutions. Okay? And so what that is saying is that the way to unity is through practicing karma, intuition, and mindfulness. If karma is what goes out comes back, or like the golden rule, treat other people how you want to be treated, that's karma, right? Intuition, listening to your guide. And I say intuition because there's so many different religions, so many different beliefs, so many different spiritual paths. Okay, so I'm saying intuition. We are all guided by something. We all hear a voice. We all have been directed, or if you have listened to it, have been directed in a certain way. It's very important for us to listen to that. And mindfulness, extending grace, extending empathy, understanding that everyone has different lived and unlived experiences. So if we put those three together, karma, intuition, mindfulness, we can be able to communicate, collaborate, work with, celebrate, commune with all of these different people, regardless of race, religion, geographical location, age, income, all of that, class. It permeates throughout all of that, right? And the solutions, SOUL, is because I realized that most solutions are simply one-sided opportunities. Have you experienced any of those? Have you seen any of those where someone presents a solution, but it really only benefits them? Well, that's where solutions comes in. Solutions with souls in mind. So if we can put all of that together, KimUnity Solutions, that's what I represent. That's who I am. And that is what this podcast is about. So what are you going through right now? What's on your mind? What is keeping you up at night? What are you working on? What are you trying to balance? What are you seeking help and assistance on? How do you see it? I want us all to change our mindset. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to get through the workplace and have a great day from your 9 to 5, your 8 to 5? It is all about how we are perceiving it, what we are saying. The words that come out of our mouth sometimes add more weight to our burden, to the burden that we have to carry. We already have this heavy load on our backs, and the words that we speak make us feel a certain way. So that load is getting heavier and heavier. Every word that you speak, when it's negative, it is creating more bricks on your back, more weight. You feel it. Even when I say I'm exhausted, it makes me, I can feel the weight when I say that. And it could be very true, but what I'm saying is we need to change that. I love the law of attraction because I've had this title for this episode for a while. I've been writing on it, and I happened to purchase a book. And in this book, it just spoke to me. It was actually saying the same thing that I've been thinking. Have you ever experienced that, where you're actually on the same page with someone that you've never met or just met, or maybe you thought your viewpoints and your thoughts were unique, and then you hear somebody else on that same frequency, and then you're just tuned in, and it's like the attraction, the synchronicity of it. So that is what I found, and this book that I read totally relates to this discussion. And this author, her name is Florence Scovel Shinn. And in it, she says, many people have brought disaster into their lives with idle words. Can you imagine that? What have you been through? And is it because you spoke it? Did you speak it into existence? That's what I mean when I say it weighs down our burden. It adds more weight. We need to be mindful of what we're saying. It changes your energy. It changes the way you feel. And here she is saying that it brought disaster into their lives through idle words. She also says there is power in your word. So on the reverse side of that, same thing, but not talking about disaster. She also says the power of the word, your word, dissolves obstacles and removes barriers. Can you believe that? Like, I feel it. And when I read it, you should see the book. I have so many outlines and underlines and stars and parentheses in this book. But those two sentences really caught me. And yes, we hear it all the time, but the way she said it, the way she worded it, it got my attention. And I hope it gets yours, and I'm going to repeat it. So it does. Many people have brought disaster into their lives through idle words. There she's talking about disaster. Now let me tell you again what she says about removing all obstacles. She says, the power of the word, your word, dissolves obstacles and removes barriers. So I want you to practice that tonight. I want you to practice that tomorrow on your way to work. I want you to practice that when you go to the doctor's office and when you leave there. I want you to practice that when you're going to go see a sick relative, or you're going to the grocery store, or there's traffic on the freeway. Okay? Remember those. Those two sentences truly, truly bless me, and I hope it blesses you. So let's go. So I talked about all of the different aspects that can be affected, right? So I spoke on professional and the professional aspect. Many times we're dreading Monday. And you're not alone. I'm not alone. I have gotten much better at this. But sometimes we are fearing something or dreading something before it even happens. We are already speaking it. We are already putting ourselves in that emotional state and that mental state. We are wasting that energy. Okay. And so we have to, again, be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. We've all had, well, I can't say everyone because I know people who have always had great managers, but there are some of us out there who have had horrible managers, or maybe there's a coworker that tries you in every way possible. But what I'm saying is don't dread it, or maybe there's the workload, but that anticipation is bad on your health. It's bad on your heart. It's bad for the people that are around you that love you. How long will you continue to go through that process? You first need to change your mindset. I advise you to change your mindset. And then you have to make a plan. What are you going to do about it? Is it something that you have to challenge? Is there a person that you have to challenge? Is there someone you need to speak to? How do you resolve the issue? Let's not go day to day to day to day facing a problem. What are the solutions? And sometimes you have to sit there and say, okay, I am going through this for a reason. What is the reason? Or let me get this experience. Let me learn how to do this better. Let me learn this other position. Let me get a letter of recommendation. These are all things you can be doing and be excited for instead of dreading what you've already known was going to be there. There could be something new. Change your mindset. Stop bringing disaster into your lives. It's Sunday, you're dreading Monday, and then Monday is here, and everything you thought of is going to happen on Monday. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? In her book, she also talks about being mindful of what you're saying to everyone else. And I'm very guilty of that because it could be all true, right? Because I want people to be truthful to me. If you're not feeling good and I say, hey, how are you? I don't want you to say I'm great. If you're not feeling good, maybe I can help. Maybe I can make you some herbs. Maybe I can make you some tea. But on the other side of that is by always saying that you're going through something, not always, but by saying that you're going through something, it could make it linger. And some people feed off of your pain. So you need to be aware of what you're saying because you don't want it to linger. We want to make change. Okay? So mentally and emotionally, have you ever just been mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted? I was going through something for a while, but I was so busy, and it was because I had so many things to do. I had to do so many different things. And I was tired and I was frustrated, but I had to get it done. Some things only you can do. Some things, yes, you can pass off. And I was sad and I was frustrated. And my husband asked me, is there anything that I can do? And I was like, no, there's nothing you can do. I said, and you let me know if you felt like this. I said, I really want to cry, but I can't. I have too much to do. Sometimes we can be so into it and into persevering, let's call it that. We could be so busy persevering that we don't have time for the emotions. We have to get it done. We have to elevate from that emotional state and say, this is what has to be done. Imagine the people who maybe work 12-hour shifts and then have to come home to a child that can't feed themselves, or an adult that can't feed themselves, or some kind of disability. There's no time to be emotional because certain things still have to get done. You have to do that later. And that's where we have to find some kind of peace. That's why we have to maybe have a quiet time or even a bubble bath or something like that, just for those few minutes that can get us back together. Now, like I said a few minutes ago, this podcast is supposed to be for everyone. Now, I'm a Christian, so what I want to say is that, and don't tune off. A lot of people tune off when they hear something they don't like. That's when you need to tune in. You can learn something. That's what it's all about, hearing different perspectives, okay? So one thing about being a believer and believing in God is that we know, and we have been taught, and the Bible says that we can cast our burdens. So we don't have to carry all that weight. We can say, Lord, take it. Now, I know everybody can't do that. I'm not familiar with all the other religions. I'm not knocking anyone. But what I'm saying is we have that. And we don't always tap into it. Sometimes we can say it and still carry it, still try to calculate, okay, how am I going to fix this problem? How am I going to do this? Instead of saying, okay, Lord, I give it to you. But that's one thing about being believers, that we can cast that. For people who don't have religions, don't believe in anything, it feels like, and I could be wrong, I don't know, but it feels like you have to carry all of that by yourself. There's no one for you to push it off on, or somebody that's bigger than you that can resolve it or hold that weight. So I just wanted to put that out there when I'm speaking about mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually, because sometimes it all runs together. Know that these experiences are helpful for us in one way or another. You may be going through something that you feel in no way is good, no way is beneficial, but your story can help someone else. You may be the voice for someone else that's going through that. Okay? So it's about changing our mindset. We don't want to go through it, but it's a part of persevering. That pain is a part of persevering. So when we talk about persevering and how to overcome it, when we're going through it mentally and emotionally, write it down. Sometimes we have so much going through our heads that we can't sleep at night. Get a notebook, get a pencil and paper, and write it down. So at least you can, if you can't cast it anywhere else, you can put it down in your notebook and you can always go back to it. And then there's a way to keep track. And I love to see when I have accomplished something and I make a check mark. It shows that I'm making progress. That will be helpful. That's encouraging to your progress. Because if you're just thinking about things and you're going through life, if something's always going to pop up. If you don't see what you have accomplished or made it through or succeeded at, it makes it harder to even continue persevering. Okay? So make sure you're writing it down. Make a schedule. All of this stuff helps you. Set deadlines. Break big things into smaller tasks. Okay? Now, when we're talking about physically, Yes, you may have had a bad report from the doctor. If you accept it and now you know, you can work on it. Yes, I have gained some weight. I'm working on it. I am going to the gym more. What changes are you going to make? Don't just be down about it. How are you going to make it through? What are you going to be cooking now? Or are you going to be cooking more than eating out? Are you just going to choose better options when you eat out? Are you going to change your grocery store? Let me tell you. So I usually shop at the same grocery stores all the time, right? Every now and then when I want something special or something real natural or organic, I'll go to a specialty store. But this one time I had just realized when I had, let me just throw a name out there. When I went to Trader Joe's, and it wasn't my first time, but this particular time I had went into Trader Joe's and I'm just looking at everybody like, oh my gosh, everyone in here is healthy. I feel positive vibes. They look good. I didn't see people on canes or they seemed active. They were wearing their fitness gear and they weren't pushing around a huge basket full of groceries. And I noticed that. Then I went to a different store, the big brand stores that have everything. I'm not going to say the name. Then I went in there and everyone, was wheelchairs and canes and everyone just felt bad and they looked bad and the energy was down. We have to be careful about what we're putting into our bodies. I came home and told my family, like, look, we're going to be shopping more at this other store because I just feel different. Isn't that crazy? I feel different. And when I eat this food, I feel better. And so I'm coming home and I'm making different recipes and all of that. But we can't just change our mindset. We have to put action into it. So yes, I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to work out. But guess what? I'm also going to put better food in my body. Now I have a Snickers thing and I haven't had one in a minute. I won't say how many minutes, but I haven't had one in a minute. But I like to put a Snicker bar in the refrigerator and I won't eat the whole thing at one time, but I will go and, take a bite every now and then. A cold Snickers. If you haven't had one, you need to check it out. But what I'm saying is change our mindset. Then we change our speech, or sometimes we have to say it first and then that will change our minds. That's kind of like forgiveness. There was one person I just couldn't stand for years and years and years. And I had to keep telling myself, I forgive them. I forgive them. Even though I didn't feel it, even though I didn't believe it, I had to say it. Sometimes you have to say it until it happens, until it's true, until you believe it, until you feel it. So it doesn't always start in the mind. Sometimes it starts in your mouth. Call those things that be not as though they are. Okay? From a believer. Sometimes you have to say it and then believe it. Say it to believe it. So we've talked about mental, we've talked about emotional, we've talked about professional. Personal includes all of that. We've talked about spiritual and physical. And so I just want to go out on this note. I do have a quote, another quote. The very first sentence of this book, Florence Scovel Shinn, says, when I read it, I almost fell on the floor. Most people consider life a battle, but it's not a battle, it's a game. It is a game. How are you playing it? I used to say it's a test. Everything we're going through is a test. Are you passing or are you failing? Are you getting an A? How well did you handle that situation? That coworker at work, yeah, they tried you, but did you pass the test? Or did you fail? Did you give them the business like what they wanted? Or did you elevate? Did you elevate the situation? If you elevated it, that means you passed the test. And sometimes you're going to have to let them know, professionally. Okay. But she says, again, I'm going to repeat it again. Most people consider life a battle, but it's not a battle. It's a game. I just want you to sit on that. So let's quit. Let's stop quitting. Let's stop retracting. Let's stop detouring. Because when you detour and you're not supposed to detour, you have to start that level all over again. Persevere. Push through. Push through. Have you ever dealt with a situation at work and you said, this is not for me? I put in my notes. You put in your notice, then you go to another job and you have that same experience. There was a lesson in that you didn't catch the first time. So now you have to go through it again. Pass the test. Pass the test. Play and win the game. She said, most people consider life a battle. It's not a battle. It's a game. Can you imagine stepping up to life with like a gun, thinking it's a battle when everybody like on the other side, like, hee hee ha ha, like we got you. Okay. What I am learning is that I have so much that I want to accomplish, so much I want to do. I can plan, I can write, it can be in my mind, I can put it on paper, I can say it, I can put the plan in action, but I will never know how it turns out. I'm saying it like I know it now, right? But tomorrow I'm going to think I know it. But the problem is that we never know. We never know what lies ahead. Yes, we have a plan. Yes, we are persevering through all of it, but we never know the obstacles that lay ahead, and we never know what those obstacles are preparing us for. So again, let's stop detouring. Let's stop leaving and making U-turns. Sometimes you have to push through. You have to grind it out. You have to learn the lesson. We have to persevere in order to get there, in order to get where we are trying to get to. You all, I hope this has encouraged you. I hope this has inspired you. It has definitely inspired me. If you have enjoyed this episode, please share it with some of your friends. Please share it with some people that you know are going through it at work, or when you speak to them on the phone, they always have something negative to say, or they're always going through something. Give them some light. Give them some light. They're always experiencing rain. They always feel like they're getting wet and caught in the storm. Let them know it's a drought. Okay? Let them know that rain is good for them. Let them know they're thirsty. Y'all, I am Kim the SME. Please check out the website, KimUnitySolutions.com. And you can also, if you're watching me on YouTube, please subscribe, please like, please follow. I am on Instagram as well at KimUnity Soulutions. Y'all be blessed. Have a wonderful week. And I'm excited to be back. And I can't wait to meet you again next week. Y'all have a blessed one.